What's good, my people? Welcome into Buckets, Action Network's daily NBA betting podcast. We're in the workshop Wednesday, NBA slate. Man, the boys were friendly enough I was busy last night doing Knicks, so they pushed me a day, and now I have the pleasure of working with my guys. Michael Fiddle, you know the man, and AC, the analytics capper. You know how we get down. We give our best bets, we give the cap, we get you guys out of here. We are recording this from our live Tommy John home studio. Go check out the gear. I have some personally. They sent me some. So I wouldn't co-sign something I didn't believe in. The draws are unbelievable. The pants are comfortable. The shirts are all gravy as well. So go tap in with our guys over at Tommy John, a great stocking stuffer with the holidays coming up as well. If it feels like the energy's a little low, three of us were all on Boston. Shout out Ty Jerome on the late basket there, unnecessary, after we got the best numbers in the market after it closes north of 7 in some spots. I know me and Fiddle were sweating -3.5 and a -4. So, but we're gonna shake that off. We're gonna figure out where the money is here on this Wednesday. First of all, Michael Fiddle, how you doing?
Not good right now. What kind of question is that?
We're gonna shake it off. AC, man, I haven't been with you in a while on the mic. How are you?
I know, man. Sean, it was 2 years in a row we were doing it, tag team. I'm happy that you're on tonight. We'll get some winners tonight. We'll get it back, Fiddle. Don't worry.
I second that, Sean. This is our first episode together this season. We've done plenty in the past, so it's nice to have you back.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's get to it. Wednesday NBA slate, 8 ball games on the slate. Some interesting matchups, a few back-to-backs for some teams coming off the NBA Cup. Michael Fiddle, give me your best bet for the Wednesday NBA slate.
I'm going to go with the New York Knicks at the Phoenix Suns. Knicks -5.5, and in the same vein, Rockets -5.5 against the Pacers.
AC, the analytics capper.
I'm going to keep this one simple, man. I like the Thunder early and often tomorrow. I like them in the first half -7 against the Portland Trailblazers.
All right, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to go Bulls Bucks over 237.5 -110. Not sure you can hang a number. Of course, you could hang a bigger number that I wouldn't play here, but I like this game to be in the 240s. All right, Michael Fiddle, coming right back to you. Let's talk about the Knickerbockers. They are getting it together a little bit. A jump shot away, rattle out away from having a undefeated last week. Why are you backing them in this spot here on the road?
It's kind of a backing of the New York Knicks. It's kind of the fading of the Suns as they don't have Beal or Kevin Durant, and they're just overly reliant on Devin Booker. The Knicks, like you say, Sean, have started to look a little bit better, both offensively and defensively. They've had these advanced statistics that show them to be a better team than their record early in the season. So they're kind of a team that I want to back against the market right now. And then I think you're going to throw Anunoby and Bridges and Hart and just different looks at Booker. He struggles when he gets double and triple teamed. He's kind of openly said that both this season and years in the past. There's that funny video of him at like an open run, and he's like, "Stop doubling me." And then Kobe had the exact opposite reaction when he was around. So that was always kind of talked about, that Booker doesn't handle the double team or a lot of pressure that well. And without the outlets of Beal and Durant in this spot, even though it's a road favorite, I think it's a clear Knicks spot. They're starting to play better. And then you get the number -5.5. If you get this below the 6, Circa just opened this at 6. It's 6 and 6.5 across the board. There's 2 5.5s out there. So if you could ever beat the line before a 6 is the most common outcome in the NBA for the last 3 seasons. So you should try and back that number at closing line value near blindly, and then you could attach these basketball reasons to it too. Feel pretty confident that it's going to close at 6 or 6.5, and then definitely bet into that.
Yeah, Suns have lost 4 straight, 5 of 6. If you look at their just last 4 games, just if you want to look at the raw net rating, it's -14. It's 29th in the NBA during that 4-game losing streak. Yeah, I mean, if you want to flash back to Book when he was a little younger and before Durant and the guys showed up, he's kind of in that similar spot where he's holding a lot of water, and it's just not something that one guy can sustain no matter how you feel about Devin Booker and what they got going on. They got to get their guys back and get healthy. Of course, Kevin Durant first and foremost. AC, what do you think of the Knicks? I'm close to them. Now, I'll give you a last quick note before I pass it to AC. They are still figuring things out. I think the big thing that still needs to be figured out is you can almost see possession by possession Jalen Brunson trying to figure out what is the best play, what would make Cat most comfortable in this spot. Oh, it might be my time to actually go get it. He's still trying to figure out how things need to work offensively to get these guys going. Mikal Bridges wasn't getting enough shots. Now he kind of is. But then on the flip, OG Anunoby is starting to score. So it's kind of like, when do I fit in here offensively? But the other night, 4 of the 5 starters for the Knicks had 20-plus points. Brunson had 12, but he had 10 assists. So he's still just trying to figure out and fill the gaps on exactly what they need. It's starting to come along here a little bit, but they also haven't been playing the top comp the last week, I would say, in the NBA either. AC, what do you think of the Knicks right now and that -5.5 number?
Yeah, I'm not personally going to be on it. It seems a little too easy, right? But it makes a lot of sense. I mean, Fiddle, his points were spot on. At the end of the day, the Suns are not a good team without Kevin Durant. That's not a newsflash to anybody, right? But without arguably the greatest scorer, even today in today's game, it's hard for that team to kind of cover up their lapses defensively. And if you look at their 4-game losing streak right now, they've only scored 107, 104, 83, 117, and 99. I mean, very inconsistent, right? It's going to be a lot of variance when it comes to that 3-point shooting. And the Knicks, I mean, Sean mentioned it earlier, they're turning a corner. I know they played, softer competition than the last 2, but their defense only gave up 104 and 106 respectively. The Phoenix Suns are gonna need a night where Booker scores 45 to 50, in my opinion, to even stay close in this game. And with OG and Mikal Bridges, revenge of Bridges, by the way, going back to Phoenix, I think they're just gonna they're gonna blitz Devin Booker all night long. He might have 10 or 12 assists. So if you're looking for a spot there, maybe a Booker over assist, but I'm not going to talk Fiddle off of it. I'm just personally not on it just because you know how the regular season NBA is, Sean. When the star player is out, something weird happens in those games. Sometimes that team ends up covering. But from a logical standpoint, Knicks should blow this team out.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. I think just overall on a pure talent base, offensively, the starting 5 should be able to take care of business. All right, Fiddle, let's move to Houston. Why are you looking at them?
I'll keep it short. It's pretty much the exact same thing. There's 5.5s hanging out in the market. There's 6.5s hanging out in the market. It is trending towards the 6.5. So I'll grab the 5.5. I'll do this blindly. And then I'll also factor in what is the basketball spot. Do I agree with it a little bit? And I'll let that determine how heavy I play into it. But just blindly, I will play into it in some degree. Rockets are a tough team. And I think the Pacers are one of the softest teams in the NBA. So at home, in Houston right now, the Pacers coming off of a loss to the Raptors where they just really didn't look good. There's been late action against the Pacers in a few games recently, so I kind of want to get in early in fading them, especially at a key number.
AC, any thoughts on Houston overall? Fiddle playing the number, which I understand. I think if you don't want to look, I'll say it like this: we live in these numbers all day long. That's all we're doing is looking at odd boards, looking at movement, looking at money coming in, how it's affecting. We're breaking down trends. We're going through everything, and it's really difficult to hit 56+%, right? So if you don't want to grind out all this stuff all day long, not see the sun some of the days like we do, where we're just in the lab grinding away. I know it's a joke off the top of the show. We're in the workshop. Like, we are legit in the workshop a good amount of the day. If you don't want to go through the rigor, but you do want action and you do want to be on the smarter side, compare some of these books and the numbers that are hanging out there and pick a number that's the lowest on the board. Me and Fiddle had an interesting conversation the last couple of days just talking about this actual Cavs and Boston matchup and the look ahead. We were talking about it last week and how we would approach it and what we would want number to open up at and all this type of stuff, right? And in the conversation, Fiddle said, I got to respect the market. He got one number, it moved to another way, and I asked him if he added. He said, no, I got to respect the market regardless. So I think it's a very interesting and right way to think about it. If you just respect the market and find the best number day in, day out, you will see value on the slips that you're printing. AC, talk to me about any thoughts, I guess, overall on Houston, that
Yeah, I
spot, and
mean,
just my comments on the market and
yeah,
Fiddle talking
I'll
about
start with your
the
comment, Sean. I
process.
think, yeah, my first reaction is that's what handicapping is. Like, that's the true definition of handicapping, finding the edges. You're not trying to make 100K parlays in a day, right? At the end of the day, you're trying to win in the margins, just like the Celtics, right? They're trying to win in the margins by depth and 3-point shooting. That's what we're doing from a number standpoint. But going back to this game here, the Rockets, so Fiddle said this is kind of like the same read as his first game, 5.5, right under the 2 possession number of 6. I like this spot a lot more. If you look at their head-to-head matchup, Pacers have actually won 9 straight games against the Houston Rockets, but the Rockets are laying 5.5 at home. I actually think the Rockets are not only going to cover this game. I think if you want to look into alternate spreads, 7.5, 8.5, maybe a double digit -9.5. I think you're going to find value with that as well. Fred VanVleet is playing a lot better for Houston, not only shooting the ball better, but he's sharing the ball. And I think Houston is just a more well-rounded team, if you will. The Pacers, very high when they're high, very low when they're low, very inconsistent team. Whereas the Houston Rockets with Ime, we know that they're going to play every game really well. They almost beat the Bucks their last time out for, I think, their 6 or 7 straight win. So they're actually rolling right now. I like Houston, especially at home. We talk about all the off the court stuff, Sean. Like in the last couple of years, Houston is one of those cities where players are gonna go and party at, right? So just FYI, when you think about that, maybe Pacers start slow and round in form. But I agree with Fiddle here. I like the Rockets a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Tyrese Halliburton hasn't been playing very well. We're talking about shooting from the floor as well. Guys with 100-plus attempts from 3. He's dead last at percentage. He just hasn't had a good year coming off of a very competitive good year last year, beating the Knicks, going to the Eastern Conference Finals. But, yeah, it just hasn't translated to this year. Alperen Şengün has been unbelievable the last week or so, had a triple-double the other night. So let's see what happens in that matchup as well.
Before we move on here, a quick announcement. Action Network is running back our annual Black Friday sale, offering our best prices of the year on a year-long Action Pro subscription. So if you still aren't a Pro subscriber, visit actionnetwork.com/Black Friday to get $40 off a year of Pro and receive instant access to all the picks and projections from our guys, Colin, Calabrese, the whole Action Network team, as well as instant picks from guys like Brandon Anderson. That's actionnetwork.com/Black Friday for the best price of the year on Action Pro.
All right, let's go to Milwaukee. This is not going to be. This is going to be fun if it goes how I think it's going to go. But there's also a way where Milwaukee and the Bulls can be a very nasty game. But I am going to go over 237.5 on the total here. Flat out, the Chicago Bulls want to run the rock up and down the floor. They're number 1 in pace in the NBA. They've been number 1 in pace from the jump to start this season. They want to run like a Ferrari, but they have the horses of a Mazda. They don't have the equipment to get out and run like they want to do. And Giannis Antetokounmpo, I know Dame, help me out, fellas. I'm not sure exactly if Dame is questionable. I know he was out. He's been out. So they haven't dropped. Obviously, we're recording this Wednesday night. I haven't seen the injury report break for tomorrow. We'll see what shakes there. But either way, Giannis Antetokounmpo has absolutely owned this matchup against the Chicago Bulls, and they have tried to just flat out. Clearly, the idea from Billy Donovan is to just try to get out and outrun and outscore people. Listen to some of these totals that the Chicago Bulls are playing. They just got a W after losing a few straight in Detroit. They put up 122, 112. They lost to Houston, 143-107 they gave up. Then they were at Cleveland, 144-126. Bulls, I was at that game. They got at the Knicks. They got the W, but 124-123. They're 6-3 to the over on the road. This matchup, historically, they played earlier this year, 133-122 in the I think a second or third game of the year. So this is just a matchup where if you're not going to force Milwaukee to try to play NED, which they're not interested in doing anyway, and the Bulls are going to be able to get up and down and run, this has 240 plus, in my opinion, written all over it. I'm going to go over 237.5 in Bulls Bucks. Fiddle, any thoughts overall on this matchup historically and this number of 237? It is, and I will admit, this is a big number. I still think it ends up in the 240s.
Damian Lillard is going to be active. He's been removed from the injury report and he's cleared the concussion protocol. So I think Dame is probably the biggest boost to an over in the NBA because he's an absolute sniper on offense and he's a cone on defense.
Yeah.
So you need him to be active, and that's clearly going to be the case, and that's why it's priced at this. Otherwise, it would have been priced, 3 points lower. There's 238.5 starting to pop up on the market. The only thing that would get me to hesitate on jumping in on it now, Sean, is just like we've seen numbers get this high and just start taking some under action simply because the number is really high. So I don't know how much further it's going to go. Like I don't really foresee it closing at like 240 or 239. So I would wait and see when that action comes in. If you have the capability of market watching and being available to watch some of these lines, like we talked about earlier in this show, like we're constantly checking in where things are throughout the day. I think you will find, I like the angle, but I also think you'll find a spot where you could potentially get, a 236 or a 235.5, and then play the over then.
AC, any thoughts on my Bulls just trying to run people out of the gym? Vucevic has been lights out. He's been playing really well. Zach LaVine looks to be extremely comfortable and back in his bucket getting form. He's still, to this day, when he has it going, just an effortless basket. I saw him at the Garden the other night. He just possession after possession just scores the rock easily. So, yeah, any thoughts overall on the spot?
No real thoughts. I mean, I do have a couple of reactions to what you just said. It's funny how the Bulls wanted Vucevic to play really well the last couple of years. He hasn't. This year they're trying to tank, and he's having basically a 20-10 season, which is amazing. Efficiency out of him. And then the Zach LaVine thing. If he ever wanted to be the number 3 option on any team, he's gonna be a championship caliber player. Because I agree with you. I think he is a walking bucket. He probably thinks he's a number 1 option, but you're going to be a number 1 option on a bad team for the remainder of your career if you're going to play like that. So as far as the total is concerned, Sean, no read for me. I do think it's high for a reason, right? Even one of the rules, I don't do this because I'm not a big totals player, but if you look at the board, there's 8 games tomorrow night. The highest total, most likely the best play is going to be the over. It's high for a reason. The lowest total, most likely the best play is going to be the under. It's low for a reason. It's the casuals that bet the opposite side because they see it's so high, let's go under. Oh, it's so low, let's go over. Those are Fiddle's really good in these podcasts because he's able to teach you how to fish, right? And not only give you the fish. And one of the rules I have is like you got to get your mindset out of the casual bettor and into the odds makers. It's high for a reason, and so you have to think of the contrarian way.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, Giannis's point prop is at 30.5. It's juiced at minus 120 to the under over at DraftKings. Looking at Dame, he's at 24.5, juice to the over. But Zach, Kobe, both 20.5. So I expect there to be some buckets up and down. Maybe Josh Giddey can even get out in the first 3 quarters and make a little impact here. All right, well, holidays are coming up. Tommy John Black Friday. As we mentioned at the top of the show, we're coming live from our Tommy John home studios. It's late November. We've got peak NBA Cup matchups, and teams are looking to win to have to be confident and comfortable on and off the court. You got to look good, feel good, play good this season. We want you to give the gift that helps your loved ones feel confident and comfortable. The gift of Tommy John. Black Friday is just over a week away, and it's time to start thinking about the people on our holiday gift list, the men and women we love, those who deserve the perfect gift, the perfect fit, and the confidence that comes only when you are fully supported. I only feel that way under two circumstances. One, when I'm right here on Buckets with the fellas, and two, when I'm wearing my Tommy John underwear. The Black Friday sale has begun. So if you're looking to score your gifts early, go to TommyJohn.com/buckets for 30% off right now. Save 30% off site-wide for Black Friday at TommyJohn.com/buckets. That's 30% off. Are you listening? For a limited time at TommyJohn.com/buckets. So pause this podcast and get yourself some, or get your loved ones the absolute best with Tommy John. All right, now that you guys are comfortable and I did my Tommy John spiel, let's get into the Tommy John Ballsy parlay of the night. I mean, look, we go through this every single episode of Buckets, at least for the most part, at least the ones I'm on. We're not big parlay bettors. There's not an edge to betting a bunch of parlays every day, day in, day out. Are they fun? Yes. Should you bet a lot of money on them? I mean, I'm not going to tell you. I don't pocket watch. I don't tell you where to spend your units. But if you're in this for the long haul, parlaying is not something you should do. But it is fun, and we're going to combine those three best bet legs that we had for you guys.
Sean, I think you forgot
still got to go
play.
Thunder, don't you?
Yeah. I'll go really quick.
AC, yes. Give me
I'll
the Thunder,
really
Cap.
Quick.
They're on the road, laying the big number. My fault.
Yeah, no, I'm honored to be able to do my play after that amazing ad read. So Tommy John all the way, guys. Yeah, this one's really easy, right? OKC dominates this matchup. I think they've won 10 or 11 straight against Portland, but the number is huge. It's minus 14. They just lost to the Mavericks without Luka. They're coming back home, right? Portland is whatever you want to, whatever adjective you want to throw at them. They have won 3 straight, so that's super impressive. That's arguably probably the best basketball they've played in 2.5 years. But I think it's a great time to fade. So it's a situational spot for both sides. It's a good time to fade OKC coming off a loss. Back OKC, and it's a good time to fade the Blazers. Also, I know it's way too early to talk about must-win type game situations, but OKC right after this is going on the road, West Coast road trip, SAC, GS, LAL. So they basically have to get this win. That's why I like the first half a lot more, because I think they're going to come out and really put it to Portland. And then whatever happens in the fourth quarter, they don't really care as long as they get the win. So I like the first half. The number right now is probably around -7, -7.5, depending on the book you're looking at.
Fiddle, any thoughts on OKC? They've been still solid the last 4 games without Chet. They 2 of the 4 games they held opponents 88 points or under. So it hasn't been too rough without Chet.
Yeah, if I know what AC's play is, like early in the day, I'm usually tailing it with him. So no things against this. I think he's right in saying you're probably fading the Blazers at the right time. I'm just going to wait for OKC's game to end tonight to actually bet it, to make sure that no one else goes down.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one tough thing about, we try to get you guys these pods first thing in the morning. So we gotta get out and get them recorded in the evening. And sometimes games are in progress. But yeah, I mean, I can't say much more about OKC. I'm very impressed. I love what they got going on. Even when Chet went down, they've still logged some really good defensive performances. They've been doing the small ball thing, and it's still been working for them. So I think this is a good spot to catch the Trailblazers snoozing a bit. They got 2 big W's in a row against Minnesota. They're probably feeling a little good as well. So I agree, AC. We can hope the Thunder continue to roll, playing the small ball, and get a big time W covering the number versus the Blazers. All right, Tommy John Ballsy parlay. If we put these 3 together, Knicks -5.5, Bulls Bucks over 237, Thunder. Did you say first half or full game, AC?
First half. I like the first half a lot more.
First half for the parlay. That registers plus 589. I saw over at FanDuel plus 589. If you trust the fellas and want to combine all three plays, if you do that, play the singles as well. Let's do a little 3-0, and then on top, bang out the parlay just in case a leg doesn't come in. For Michael Fiddle, for AC, the analytics capper, I am your host, Sean Little. This is the Wednesday edition of Buckets. I am back tomorrow as well. Stay on the lookout, and as always, get buckets, baby.